but it's readily apparent that when the strike at Bimber, you first see the munition drop, it floats for a few seconds, then it just punches, and within a split second there's an explosion, having reoriented itself very, very rapidly. So this is a particular kind of a munitions platform.
You need to unmute me.
Yeah, we can hear you, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. I could not see that on your screen, but I can understand the way you were speaking and what Air Marshal Kapoor also explained it. You see that some UAV or the drone must have been on top, where it dropped the sort of bomb, and it ignited, got acceleration, and then it has hit. And like you used the word, roughly speaking, bunker busting. Bunker busting we have at the ground level also, and this through air also they have dropped this. But what is more important is, which in the entire thing which you have sort of shown, you see we had the very accurate information of all these targets. And only then these weapon systems have been chosen. And accordingly, like something coming from top, something coming from the side wall, those things have hit, and that's how these targets have been destroyed. So it was an excellent coordination and the selection of ammunition and the way the whole thing has been coordinated.
Okay,
in the shortest
I'm going to
possible time.
speculate since I have no operational experience whatsoever. Okay, I'm restricted to books I've read, but this is the second munition set. Okay. Now I'm going to have to speculate on this with the two people who actually served. They're also speculating because they don't know which exact weapon system this is, and maybe if it's been introduced recently, they would not have operational experience of it. But what you can see in this is Sarjal. Okay, this is Sarjal near Sialkot. Now, in the Sarjal, you can clearly see that what looks like the observation vehicle, which is doing this monitoring, you can clearly see that the camera has its center point here. Okay. There is a separate red point. Now, there are vehicles that are available that light up the target for laser guided missiles. These systems do exist. So, if you have a pinpoint target, you can send some kind of vehicle. In the olden days, it used to be a plane. It could potentially be a drone now, that lights up with a laser light, so that whatever missile is coming in is able to better identify its target. This is what it seems to me. It could be something else, could be nothing to do with that. It could be somebody in a PPT presentation put a point, but it doesn't look like that. That's an embedded point in the image. So, there is a potential here, because now you will see that the center point of the camera is here. Okay, those are the crosshairs of the camera, and you see a red point over here, which is to the left bottom of that. All right. Now, watch what happens at that red point. Wait for it. Wait for it. There you go.
Rishabh,
huge explosion.
Rishabh,
yes, go ahead. Go ahead, General. Yes.
Yeah, what I am commenting is only after hearing you, because I cannot see anything on the screen.
I understand, sir.
No, but doesn't matter. No, doesn't matter. I have understood what you're saying now. You see, what has happened is there in the laser sort of weapons, that there is something called laser designator. These targets are designated first, like you say, lighted first with the laser. That can be done from ground, but not in this case. So the thing which has come from top, it has first designated the target through laser, it has lighted, and then the munition has gone, then it guides itself to that place, to the target. Yeah. That's how probably this thing has happened.
Yeah, laser guided missiles. They're literally called laser guided missiles.
These are PGMs. So these are PGMs, precision guided bombs. These are the ones which have been fired. That's how this kind of precision and accuracy we have achieved.
Okay, so I want you to now notice the difference. Okay, so the platform number 1, which has been utilized, and you're getting the multiplicity. In this case, in Bimber, the munition, which is obviously some kind of missile because it has propulsion. This is not a dumb bomb which has just been dropped. It has propulsion, and the speed at which it has pivoted to the target from the point where it is dropped within a split second. Now, I don't know how many frames that is, tells you that it also had precision guidance. It has been, and it has the ability to navigate, which means it has either adjustable nozzles or more likely flaps on its rocket output, which is allowing it to very, very quickly pivot itself and hit the target. So, now I'm going to play it again. So, you now watch this. It's going to fall out. Okay, you can see that looks like that's free fall. Okay, it falls out, then suddenly it zooms away and it's zooming in this direction toward the center of the screen, but it actually hits to the right of the screen. So, within a split second it has fallen, ignited, reoriented and hit the target. This is a different munitions platform as to what you are about to watch in this case, which is I have just pointed out, seems to me, watch this. So, the crosshairs of the camera are here. Okay, watch again the red dot, all right, potentially laser guided system here, and watch what happens right below the red dot, boom, and that required no night vision, that you can see it in full color. All right. Now, this is the next one, and let me quickly get on the precision laser guided missile. Let me get Air Marshal if is still with us. Is Air Marshal still able to hear us?
Hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. So, I am just taking us through potential platforms. Air Marshal Clark joining us on the broadcast.
Yes. Can you speak a little louder?
Yeah, I'll try to get that communication to you, sir, as the best that we can. Now, the second platform here, you can see again crosshairs. Watch for the laser spot and huge explosion right under where the red spot is. Now, we are drawing an assumption here, and it's only an assumption that you are lighting up the target with a laser for a laser guided missile. Now, this is the next site. This is Mehmuna Joya. Okay, this is within Pakistan. All right. Now, very small camp here, 2 buildings with a compound marked in the dotted yellow line, which you can clearly see at the center of your screens. Now, this is the engagement of that camp that has taken place. Now, watch this. This you got to see. Now, in this engagement, you are seeing what is obviously the display of a drone, and everything is visible. We know the wind speed, we know the wind direction, we know the azimuth, we know the altitude, we know the latitude, we know the longitude, we know how much battery the drone had left. Okay? Everything has been released. Now, watch what happens as I play this video, which has been released by the Indian Air Force. Have a look. In this case, the platform on which the camera itself is based, which is, I am assuming, the drone, because you can clearly see a drone there, is zooming in, closing in, closing in, closing in, closing in, closing in, closing in, and the last frame freezes. Watch it again. So, have a look at this. Static, the frame is static. Okay, closing in, picking up speed, closing in, the buildings are becoming bigger, closing in, closing in, closing in, closing in, closing in, closing in, right in the center of the building, there we go, lost the feed. Okay. So, this is a third type of a munitions platform. What it is, I do not know. What it looks like, that it is a drone that has been flown into this building while being guided or on autopilot mode. Now, the drone screen has an attack mode, okay, a status mode, it has a search mode and a boat mode and a warhead mode. Okay. India's drone capabilities in terms of assault have never been publicly discussed before what has been released today. This is clearly a drone in operation. This drone is capable of being flown manually with a joystick. It can fly to a designated coordinate. It can return to the point of origin. It can go into a holding pattern, which is, I am assuming, either going around in circles or hovering pattern. Watch the video again. The drone itself in this case is heading straight at the center of the buildings until the last frame is lost and the communication is gone. Okay. This is Mehmuna Joya. This is within Pakistan, near in that area of Lahore Sialkot, near the salient. Okay. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the main camp in Murid K. This is the huge camp over dozens of acres. Okay. 4 strikes. Now, watch this. Okay. So far we have identified 3 weapons platforms which are distinct in the way they have attacked their targets. The first weapons platform has dropped a munition which looks like a missile. That missile, after free falling for a second or 2, has then ignited and rapidly pivoted to hit the target. The second munitions platform seems to me as a lay person that it is laser guided and a device, some kind of aerial device has been used to light up the target for the precision laser strike to happen. The third one is, looks to me, I will describe it in layman's terms, as a kamikaze drone. The drone itself has delivered the warhead. Now, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the fourth. Now, watch very carefully at this part of your screen. You are going to see an almost vertical munition drop. Okay? I am going to play that again. You see the first strike. Okay? Now, as we look at the second strike, I want you to watch very carefully this part of the screen. I will pause it and replay it. Watch, wait for it. There you go, there you go, there you go, there you go. There's the explosion. I am going to play it again so that you can see it. Okay, here we go. Let's wait for it, wait for it. There. Now, have a look at this black dot at the extreme top of your screen. It's very small. Have a look at this black dot. Okay. Now, you're going to see it moving downwards in this direction. Okay. Watch. There you go, there you go, there you go. And explosion, plume of smoke. Second one. Now, have a look. You can see the third hit over here. Have a look at the next one. This is visible even more clearly. Okay. Wait for the next frame to come. You can see the plume of smoke is lingering here. Massive explosion has taken place. Now, wait for it. Again, you're going to watch the munition drop. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Let's watch the munition drop and then you'll see the explosion. Watch out on the center of your screens. There you go. The munition is dropped. Explosion. Okay, that's the explosion. Munition dropped this way. All right, let's watch that again. Watch for it here. There you see the munition drop, explosion. Okay. So that's the fourth. Now, there were 4 strikes on Murid K because the camp is so large. All seem to be, the ordnance seems to be pretty high explosive because this is being shot from very far away. Now, this is a near vertical drop. Now, whether this is also a drone drop or missile strike, I don't know. Looks like a drone drop to me. Okay. So, from everything that I can examine here, which is complete layman's knowledge, layman's assessment of what is going on, from what has now been publicly released, is that you're seeing various weapon systems. Many of them are drones, which are either providing real-time videography, providing laser designation, or indeed dropping the ammunition or serving as kamikaze drones. It's been a fascinating exposition. I honestly can't believe all of this has been released, but it has told us exactly what has taken place in no ambiguous terms what has happened. Air Marshal Kak, who has been sitting with me since I began my career in television some 20 years ago. Good to have you with us, sir. I know it's in difficult circumstances. I've never seen imagery like this released to the public before, sir. You may have been privy to some of it during your tenure. I'm sure the drone warfare is more recent. What do you make of what we've just seen, sir?
This is a very well synchronized diplomatic, military, international relations, cognitive warfare combo, which in this difficult hour, India is sharing with the government, the military, the armed forces are sharing with the public, firstly in India, to say this is what we have evolved in terms of precision strikes, utilization of drones, utilization of the type of weapons which have been selected. Incidentally, I may just remind your viewers that similar weapons were used during the Balakot strike, which took 6 years in coming to this day. And this is a Balakot Mark II, but certainly sized up in scale, penetration, and the level of hurt of the national psyche converted into what in international parlance would be termed punitive deterrence. This deterrence is not only for Baisaran, this deterrence is also for the numerous acts of terrorism which have emanated from across the line of control and the border right from 2001. It's quarter of a century. I don't have to enumerate all those incidents. So this is a case of punitive deterrence and a signal to the world that India shall not ever again be self-deterred in not acting against terror, which has happened in the past.
I know there's a larger picture, sir, we're addressing here, but forgive me
as to your precise question, the larger question needs to be addressed.
Fair enough, sir. Yes.
I want to state that this is a very critical moment. We have succeeded. We have messaged. We have done cognitive warfare. We have done strategic communications and signaling to the whole world, and including to our own people, to satisfy them that those widows which were made at Baisaran, their psyche and sadness and huge grief is now, in a sense, solved. But I want to share with you that the two types of weapons, I don't want to go into details. It is not an appropriate forum. You as an anchor, of course, have to educate the public and make them au fait with what happened in this military hour. But the weapon like scalp is well known. It's in the public domain. Can be released from 500 to 300 kilometers from the target, and it has two dimensions. One is to do the penetration, first act, and second is then the blast. So the precision is so much, as you say in a lighter vein, that you can decide which window the weapon will go through, or which floor it will actually affect the maximum.
Okay.
Are you talking about the videography? Yes, of course, drones can do videography. Any weapon can do videography. But we have in the Indian Air Force, for example, it's again in the public domain. I'm not divulging any operational craft or details of weapons. A weapon called Crystal Mace, which actually releases and videographs through entire process of release and impact everything. And that's what you were referring to, I think.
Yeah.
Actually, when it strikes the ground. So it's conventional aircraft and precision guided weapon which is employed. And that is, I think, at this stage, that's more than enough that I can share.
Fair enough, because I have the privilege of actually having no idea. So therefore, there's no possibility of me letting something slip.
You have a lot of ideas which you have conveyed.
Yeah, but I have the luxury of I have no possibility of letting something slip. In your case, it might be different.
Humble.
So I understand your caution. I know Vicky and Sumit will share my curiosity. Okay, can I get the Bhavalpur explosion video? Bhavalpur explosion video with the full NAT. Put on loop 3-4 times. Bhavalpur explosion video with full NAT, put on loop a few times, please. Do we have that? Bhavalpur explosion video, yeah, with the full NAT. Come back to me. All right. Now I'm going to play this again. I want you to very carefully hear the swoosh, boom. Okay. You can hear the whistle. Okay. My PCR crew is going to fine tune it. This is live editing going on. This is live television. So again, I want you to hear the sound. We've seen the explosion. I want you to hear the sound preceding the explosion. So there's a swish, boom, and of course, the people are shouting Allah Akbar on the ground. Listen to this once again. Okay. Okay. So now let's go through the sound of this video. What you can hear, the rumbling, those are the locals and the mobikes. The rumbling is not in the air, it's the mobikes. They're revving the engines. So that's the rumbling. Then you hear the swish, and you can tell that is a munition flying at very high velocity. Okay. Now, either it's a munition that has been dropped overhead, capable of accelerating to very high velocity in a short span of time, such munitions also exist, or indeed it has been fired from a distance and potentially, like a cruise missile, is traveling at Mach 2 before it reaches its target. Now, it doesn't look like the latter to me, but like I said, no clue. So I have no experience, knowledge here. I'm just applying common sense and logic. Okay. So let me get Vicky and Sumit into this conversation. Vicky and Sumit, I don't know if you can see the screen that I'm trying to take people through, but from what we have just analyzed and what has been put out into the public domain, and I'm sure it has been put out in the public domain for more than we got the proof reasons. I think we have just made a very strong declaration, Vicky, that we possess the capability for laser demarcated guided strikes. We possess the capability of kamikaze drones. We possess the capability of assault drones capable of firing bunker busting missiles. We possess the capability, because we know that the attack took 23 minutes, which means that the drones went in, acquired their targets, completed the hit from wherever their deployment location was, which we don't know where it was. But even if it was the nearest possible place it could be, they possess the speed of travel. Drones are not very speedy vehicles. They're not going to match the Rafale or the F-22, but they were fast enough to acquire the target, and some of these targets were 150 kilometers into Pakistan, within 23 minutes and execute the attack. So we have never discussed publicly what our attack drone capability is. We know that we have surveillance drones, but we have never discussed it. We have also simultaneously announced to the entire world what drone capabilities we now can leverage and can pinch. My assessment, and it's a total layman's assessment, I don't see any air strikes or cruise missile strikes. This looks like a total drone operation. Vicky.
That's right. See, one thing that you can make out from this, what is really credible is, the precision with which the targets have been struck and the timing. So, clearly the three main weapons that went into use out here: the scalp missile, the hammer, and the kamikaze drones. So, what it tells us is that that this is, relatively, if you look at it in the sense like, this is what we can do in such quick time, and it is a real message to Pakistan and also to the rest of the world about our capabilities. And it's, you can't mess around too much. And also, in this we have also called out Pakistan's nuclear bluff. They would always send in their terrorists and carry out these ghastly attacks and then use the nuclear angle to it. But if we have these kind of capabilities, one of the biggest thing, like I was talking to one of my friends and he just told me that this also calls out the nuclear bluff and how we can fight a war and destroy targets with such quick time. That is at 9 different locations with such precision hitting and in such quick time and without hitting a single Pakistani military target to ensure that there is no escalation into a full-fledged war. But this is a very loud message, and definitely shows how good our drone technology has been, because a couple of years back on this front, we were a bit on the back foot, but this attack really shows that, we are there, we could call it, global standard. That's what I would like to say.
Sumit, I don't know if you managed to listen to some of my commentary. I try to break it down the best I've understood it, frame by frame, on what is happened. You and I can have a layman's curiosity for something that's been informed to us for the first time in no unambiguous terms. This is not a PPT presentation. We've just been shown what we have. Okay, and I'm sure the Indian Air Force has thought it through of what they want to publicly reveal, and a judgment has been made that it's okay for the world to know at this stage what capacity, and it's okay for the Pakistanis to know what we can do.
I think, Rishabhji, the message is very clear to the Pakistanis and the world on the military capability. Let it be kamikaze drones, let it be swan drones, swamp drones, let it be Mark 1s, let it be Igla 5s, which we have got from Russians. We have the full spectrum of capability in that area. I am not ruling out where the unmanned aerial vehicles. That is also a possibility which could be used. We have, which are developed indigenously, which we have got from other parts of the world. I'm not talking of MQ-9, which is yet to come, but we have our own systems as well, which we have developed. Besides that, if you look at the precision of the strike, a mix of equipment, in my opinion, was used. I believe for every site, there was a different plan. It was not one set of equipment which was used across the sites. For every site, depending on the distance, accessibility, we have used a different strategy and a different architecture. What we have been surprising Pakistanis with is the 3S: speed, secrecy, and how discreetly we did it. So speed, secrecy, and discretion is what they were really, really surprised. And the whole operation concluding in 23 minutes. And after that, the Pakistani lies, which we were talking in the morning, oh, ek Rafale gira diya, ye gira diya, wo gira diya, was, their lies. We have attacked the Srinagar airbase, we have attacked 20 places in Srinagar. By that, by the grace of God, no, we know everything what went in is back. They have not been managed to attack anything. Nothing in Srinagar is attacked. Forget the Srinagar airbase. And this Rafale is down and all is all figment of the imagination and propaganda of ISPR. Now, what this attack shows to Pakistan and our adversaries, even on the Chinese, with the various mix of strategies which we have used for a speed steady attack with secrecy, we have come back, we have destroyed the enemy, and that too, Rishabhji, when the enemy was on 100% alert. It is not like Balakot and all when they were not so much on alert. This time they knew after Khwaja Asif's repeated statement, internal ministers repeated statements, Ishaq Dar's repeated statements, and
even but Sumit, with one difference, no?
Yeah.
They were on alert for what they knew our capability was. You cannot be on alert for if you're not aware of the capability.
Correct.
Now, I know Pakistan has intelligence, and of course, their job is to keep tabs of what the Indian Air Force is capable of. And I'm assuming we have counterintelligence trying to make sure that they never know. Today, we have first shown them, and then we've khuleam told them, this is what we've done to you. So they would have been expecting an air strike or a cruise missile strike. Now, let me war game this out for people watching the broadcast. For the last 2 weeks, you will be conducting various sorties all along the international border and along the LOC. These sorties are of two kinds. One which run parallel and maintain a distance to either the international border or the LOC, and the other ones can be best described in public terms as ghost attacks, which means you would add pace, head towards a particular point on the border area or on the LOC, and then veer away at the last minute.